The shields of Wessex must hold firm in today's battle. Hey, how's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome back to another Age of Vikings online battle for Total War Attila. Today we have the forces of Wessex holding back a pretty gnarly army. Yes, I said gnarly because that's how good it is from the Viking forces. They had some deadly berserkers who are just going to rip through the shield walls, but hopefully them shield walls can stay intact and keep the rest of the Viking forces at bay. It's going to be a very exciting engagement. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing who does come out on top, whether it is Wessex or the Vikings, and even more so because Thrones of Britannia does come out, I believe, in around about 2 weeks time. So because of that, I wanted to start getting us into the Viking mood. As well as that, today's sponsor for this video is Vikings, so I want to say a massive thank you to them. If you don't know already, Vikings is an old school strategy RPG that is placed in the top 5 of the download charts. If your playstyle is like mine and you like to focus on military, then you will be right at home here as you build up a mighty warband. However, if that isn't your style, don't worry, you can also build up a strong economy in the game, which is just as important and will be a great asset to helping your clan. Vikings isn't all about clan v clan though. You can also participate in epic nation vs nation combat to find out which country is strongest, and you'll obviously be finding me defending England. Finally, an interesting fact is that the Vikings game has recently reached over 20 million players, which is over 10 times more than the actual total population of actual Vikings that lived, which is pretty crazy. If you install the game right now using my link in the description, you'll gain 200 free gold and an initial protection shield as a thank you for supporting the channel. I've also been playing the game for about 2-3 weeks now, and I've been having a lot of fun leveling up my city and improving my army, so I'm sure you guys will as well. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Vikings for sponsoring this video. Stuff like that really does help out the video. It helps me keep this content consistent every single day. So a massive thank you for Vikings for sponsoring it. It helps out the channel immensely, and hopefully you guys can go check out the game itself. So let's go ahead and jump into the engagement. Wessex is going to start off by, it looks like, reforming up their battle line. They're going to force the Viking army to come to their shields, and they have onagers to do that. So I guess because they have the onagers, that's going to almost prompt the Vikings to push forward. And I guess the English do have the range of the longbows as well, so it makes sense for the Vikings just simply want to go ahead and close the distance as quickly as possible. I mean, I'm sure we're going to be seeing them onagers shooting very soon as the Viking forces does get closer and closer to the shield wall of Wessex. And I imagine we'll be seeing a very nice line. So on the front line for Wessex, we do have their spearmen. I imagine these guys are going to be doing okay because they are heavily armored. They've got that chainmail one. But, you know, they're not going to fare as well. It's on the flanks where Wessex has its strength. It's swordsmen right here. The elite swordsmen, I think they're called Royal Things, I think. And these guys are going to be on either of the flanks. And I think that's going to allow Wessex just to kind of almost envelop the Viking forces. The Vikings are sending up a first initial wave, I guess, to taste out the forces and to see what they are made of Wessex. They also have some cavalry as well, which again they are pushing up. If we can get on board with them right now, we can see them. As the artillery does go out, we're going to find any big hits off there. Does look like they did actually pepper the line. And this also looks like skirmisher cavalry, maybe? I'm not sure. I mean, obviously they're not going to stand up against the stronger, heavier cavalry of the forces of Wessex. But again, Wessex don't look like they have as much cavalry, so the Vikings are actually dominating that. And here we go, the English longbowmen just peppering away with the artillery coming in as well. Oh, that's some huge hits right there, burning the Vikings before they even make it to the shield wall. And now the Wessex spears have formed up. We're going to see them right there, ready for this combat. Ready to keep the Viking hordes at bay as the longbowmen just go overhead, thinning down the numbers, and that's exactly what they need to have happen. Thin down the Viking numbers before they do climb into battle, and that will hopefully make them much more manageable. Their second battle line is still waiting back. I guess they're just seeing what this front line can do more than anything else. The last couple archers as well, trying their best just to pick up a few casualties, but it doesn't look like they really have much left. This looks awesome as well, the way these guys are holding their shields above their heads whilst also fighting. Maybe not the most sensible tactical decision because it leaves their body completely open, but I assume that's because the arrow fire is coming in. I guess the second infantry line of heavier infantry. Oh, they're marching up now. Yeah, these, I imagine this is like going to be made up of like berserkers and also the more elite one, yeah, the armored. archers. We also have the axemen as well, the huskels. Insane. That's really cool as well. Like half the unit, oh no, it's because they're mixed in. I was gonna say half the unit has like axes and half the unit doesn't. So the Vikings are just forming up a defensive formation, trying to rotate the Wessex battle line to actually go ahead and try and attack them, which is smart because you don't really want to kind of curve your line to fight these guys. You want to be fighting in a shield wall of your own, which is exactly what these guys have done. And let's go ahead and tell them to do some slow-mo, so we can watch this battle and watch all the action take place. So the English longbowmen are just hammering the back lines now. So dealing with that is really important. And it does look like the Vikings are using their spearmen in contingent with their cavalry superiority just to overwhelm the English horse. And once they take out the English cavalry, then they're going to be able to wrap around the flanks. And you can already see, if we take a look at the outer formation, that we're almost already seeing the English battle line being stretched as thin as it can do. The artillery is still coming in, but the Vikings have so many elite soldiers still waiting back to push up. So even if the spearmen do manage to hold this battle line, which it looks like they are doing, they're going to be in a hard situation, especially when you do have cavalry coming in, hammering, anviling constantly into the backs of your infantry, and you have all your spearmen here situated on the front line, trying to keep the Vikings back. So you have nothing to actually protect your rear, which is exactly what we're seeing, are we? Yeah, we actually see one of the Viking cavalry units making its way around already and hitting the English longbow. This is devastating for the battle line. You can see as well the axemen going in here, just trying to and break back the berserker line of heavy infantry. The archers are not going to be in a good situation. They're also setting a blaze to the onagers. Wessex is not looking like it is in a good spot right now. They need to try and do something, and I think that's exactly what they're doing by being very aggressive with these right flanks right here, sending in the Royal Fangs to deal with these spearmen. If they can kill these spearmen, that will open up a flank for their own, and then they can start pushing in a few more soldiers and trying to envelop it. I mean, if they can just clear up one of these guys, then they can bring their soldiers round. Oh, that looks pretty insane right there, as the artillery is just coming round as well. That looks very, very cool indeed. The smoke bellowing out from the battlefield, the fire is going out, archers going over as well. I think that's pretty insane. That's one of the things that Attila does do well. It does have some really nice battle lines, especially, I mean, just look at that. That's Attila does some good stuff like that. If it was just a shame, if only it was a bit more, like, better optimized, we could have, like, triple the number right here. Oh, the berserkers going in now. Look at them just screaming. They don't even care. Arrow shots coming in, and these guys are just taking it to the hand, to the shield, anything, as they just fly in. And these berserkers will make a quick meal, I assume, of the Wessex front line. These spearmen, I feel so sorry for them, but a lot of them actually dying as they come flying in on the charge. But this is where the berserkers will really start to go ham as we continue to go down the battle line. Not either side shifting. It does look like Wessex are breaking the Vikings in the center of the battlefield, and this could be huge of them if they can wrap around their axes before the Vikings can support with more soldiers, as they are actually dwindling a little bit on their reserves. They're bringing up their final units of infantry right here, the berserkers, into battle. If they need to supply this quickly, because it does look like the front line for the Vikings is breaking, and it also looks like that the Wessex forces have managed to get this under control on the left flank, sending in more cavalry right there, the Royal Horsemen being sent in to deal with the cavalry engagement of the Vikings. If they can deal with this before and also break the center, then this could be back on the table for the Vikings. I mean, I think, or for Wessex, sorry. It really did look like that the Vikings were gaining the upper hand with the flanking forces, with killing the cavalry of Wessex, but their men are proving sturdy warriors, especially on these flanks, so they do have these royal soldiers who are just armed to the teeth, well trained. And they're going up against spearmen as well, and spearmen just aren't equipped to deal with such an aggressive unit, and you can see more infantry being sent over now as a lot of the infantry is being broken. I mean, more reinforcements are turning up, and it makes a lot of sense that they are coming up over onto this right flank for berserkers. Oh, and the Vikings are making huge work in the flanks, so the Vikings have lost in the center, but they've managed to push up a lot of spearmen over on the left and right flanks as the artillery comes flying in there, burning 5 or 6 dudes straight away, more than that, as many more soldiers run into the fire as they do come flying round. And more berserkers going in as well. Another artillery shot there. Oh, a bit of friendly fire almost there. Yeah, killing a couple of the dudes. But the infantry coming round. We also have the axemen as well fighting away against the berserkers. I don't know who will come out on top on this engagement, honestly. It's probably going to be quite even. But we also have the archer fire as well. You know, point blank arrow fire coming into the side of these Vikings here. Or these Wessexmen. Sorry, I just see axemen. Oh, that's what you like to hear if you're a Viking fan right now. The berserkers going berserk, staying true to their name, getting in a fit of rage, and just, you know, really getting stuck in, diving into battle, and taking out these Englishmen. The English are putting up a good fight, almost turning around this flank. Now, this is a perfect opportunity for the forces of the Vikings to start shooting this heavy infantry in the back if they want to. That would be very, very deadly. Over on the right-hand side as well, we can see that their spearmen have now arrived, and we can probably go back up to normal speed if we go ahead and tell them. So we can go back to normal speed and continue to watch this on. The fire arrow is smashing in the center. And here we go. We're actually going to have a lot of the axemen charging forward against the berserkers. The axemen are probably one of the better units to take out the axemen, honestly. They have huge armor piercing. And with the arrow fire going over, you can just see this shield wall right now being taken apart as more and more infantry do charge in. The best of the best have now been committed to this battle, and it's really just going to go down to whatever side can hold firm. Wessex have kind of got the advantage right now, but with these berserkers going into a berserk rage, we might start to see this banter power shifting slowly. I mean, Wessex have the man advantage, but the Vikings are always known for their quality rather than numbers. Again, if we take a nice little glimpse from the other side, we can see that the flanks are really starting to cave in. And if the Vikings can just put the pressure on, then that'll allow them to collapse some rest of the forces. They even have some cavalry here as well, which have charged into the archers. The archers are doing an okay job of fighting it off. Obviously, that's like 10 horses against 100 men. You know, no matter how strong the 5 men are, they're going to get overwhelmed. The Viking general actually making his way into the battle as well. He needs to be careful he doesn't just get shot by the English arrows. We can see him with his elite unit of Haskells. And the archers need to be very careful because they're about to be overwhelmed in the center. And that's going to be a huge amount of soldiers just being lost here as the Vikings put up no mercy and continue to cut this. So even though that the center was going so well for Wessex in the beginning of the battle, they have now since lost it. And I mean, look at that battle line right now. That is glorious. And now it's just the flanks. It's completely turned off on its head right now, this battle. The flanks are now the ones, the only kind of saving grace for the forces of Wessex. But even then, they're definitely struggling with this more elite force being sent into the battlefield. We can just see the Vikings taking full control. Balance of power has now shifted back to being even. The number count is even as well. Obviously, the Vikings being yellow and the forces of Wessex being red right now.
Our men have given up and are running for their lives.
The enemy general, the Wessex general, King Alfred himself, the Great, now stands alongside his men. The Viking general cutting through Wessexmen to get to him, cut the head off the snake, and win the battle. The horns of battle is at the horns of retreat. A lot of Wessex men do hear that horn and they are falling back. But the general unit is still holding. Oh my god, look at that. The Vikings have just cleaned up on that left flank. And now they're just surrounding it. The only thing Wessex is going for is this elite unit of royal soldiers. I think they're going to be trying to form up a nice little last stand here. Granted, the balance of power is still very even, but they are just trying to send some more men over there as quickly as possible, and they need to try and rout these spearmen as quickly as possible before all their archers go down. I say that again, you know, it's not like the forces of the Vikings have a lot of infantry left. Again, a lot of their men are consisting of these archers. Granted, they still have a lot of really good soldiers. But if Wessex can reform their battle lines, if they can go ahead and organise and march back here, resupply men, maybe save the general, then who knows where this battle can go. Either side could honestly win this. Losing the Wessex general though is huge. That's going to hurt the morale. Obviously not as badly as losing it early on, Because at this point in the battle, a lot of the elite soldiers are, you know, in the battle, so it doesn't really matter the morale. As the elite soldiers aren't really affected too much by morale. You know, they'll fight to the bitter end quite consistently. But it is going to just help them, you know, if it's an extremely close battle, that's going to hurt. But I can't imagine the Viking general is too healthy. No, he is down to 78 men. And we do have the Viking thanes moving over here as well. If these guys can just wrap around the battlefield, surround that general and kill them, then who knows where this battle could go. Either side could claim victory right now. As I think it looks like they are just simply reforming, right? Yeah, they're going to reform here and charge into the flanks. A lot of the arrow fire is also going down as the men of Wessex do try and silence these armoured archers. The armoured archers obviously, you know, going to be doing a little bit better. That guy just gets stabbed on the floor. Look at that. Pull out that spear, man. Awesome. More and more of them coming, but the berserkers are in a fit of rage. This battle will literally go down to the wire right now. If we look at the morale, both sides are dropping low on morale. The infantry, though, for Wessex are just so elite. They're just not going to be giving up this battle easily. They will fight over their king's body. More berserkers coming into the fight as well, though. And it does look like Wessex have taken, once again, the lead. 420 men for the Vikings, 550 for the enemy, which is Wessex. And again, Wessex have a lot of, the Vikings have a lot of soldiers in their spears as well. Could Wessex bring this back? Oh god, the Viking general is very low. I guess we'll just stay on board right here and watch the Viking general fighting it out. I don't know if the Vikings have the numbers, and I don't think they're going to, especially because that unit of spears back there are killing all the archers. The axemen is getting taken apart right now. The heavy infantry for Wessex is just keeping this line steady. And there we go, the Viking general is down. Is that going to be detrimental to the morale? It's going to be as well. And I think there we have it. Wessex, even though losing their king in this battle, have sent the Viking raiders back to whence they came. I mean, there's going to be some berserkers still holding to the end. But I doubt even these berserkers can hold firm and keep. There's only 44 of them left. They probably will fight to the last, but what a battle this has been. Considering we had 8,500 soldiers in the battle, pretty crazy to think that only just over 400 men have survived so far. And I'm sure that number is going to be cut down even more out of the last couple of units. I mean, you never know. The Vikings could transform into bears and win the day, much like the old tales of the berserkers. Unfortunately, though, I feel like that is not quite true, and that's going to come back and hurt the forces of the Vikings. More so just to intimidate their opponents. I mean, if I was to come up against a berserker, and I believed that he was going to turn into a goddamn bear, I think I would be a little bit scared to fight him. I mean, they're cheering right now, and they are killing the forces of Wessex quite nicely. Their numbers have dropped down, but there's only 19 left remaining. And they are simply just surrounding this. Are these the only guys left? Yeah, the spearmen are coming in now as well. This will be a good charge in the back. 5 men left now. 4. The last couple berserkers, I think, are all here. They actually just sent one of the soldiers flying to the ground. 2 soldiers left. There's one of them. And he goes down. Where's the last berserker? Right here, surrounded. He is going to be dead so quickly. As the forces of Wessex just surround him and slay him to the ground. I mean, I'm proud of them for fighting to the end. But there we have it. Wessex claiming victory. That was a great battle. Went very heavily in favour of Wessex at the start because of their archers and trebuchets. They'd be so lucky. Catapults. And then, obviously, the Viking infantry got stuck in. So then they started doing a lot better. And then finally, Wessex, the superior power of Wessex just kind of prevailed in that engagement. So if we look at the kills, we can see the archers being a huge MVP, and the berserkers, this one getting over 320 kills, and also the general for the Danes as well, 381 kills, very, very impressive. Taking a look over on the forces of Wessex, I imagine it's going to be the swordsmen. Yeah, look at that, 193 kills, 214 on spearmen isn't too bad, honestly. That's very impressive. And their cavalry not doing too bad either, 113 in the end, and obviously the longbow proving its worth. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Also go ahead and also go ahead and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content on the channel. And obviously a massive thank you to Vikings for sponsoring this video. Make sure to go ahead and use my link down below in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one.